When I became blind, I thought I was wrong. I thought that there was no next. I thought it wasn't okay. But as I learned more, as I discovered more, I recognized that this is something that I needed to learn for my journey of empowerment. And now I can tell you all about it. Woo! Let's go, Speaker Vision Podcast. You know what we do here. Not only I am Vision of Hope, but we are Vision of Hope. This is Tariq Williams, your problem-solving coach. Let's get right into it. You know what we do here. This is your space for everything empowerment. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Not only talk about it, but let's be about it. Here we go. So, you're wrong. You are wrong. Capital WRONG exclamation point. All right, we emphasizing it. You're wrong, but that's okay. And there's this thing in the world where we believe that being wrong is not okay. But yet, we believe that we can learn from our mistakes. Do you see how the world can be backwards sometimes? We believe that we can learn from our mistakes. However, it's not okay to be wrong. So we need to be able to find a place where we can be able to learn from our mistakes and recognize that it is okay to be wrong. Don't break the law. Don't break the law. But ultimately, it's okay to be wrong. You have to learn from your mistakes, learn from others' mistakes. But I'm sorry to tell you, on the Speaker Vision Podcast, this is a safe space for empowerment. This is your space to be yourself. This is your space for authenticity, health, mindset. You know what we do here. So with that being said, I need to be honest with you and tell you that you might be wrong. So when it comes to social media these days and what it looks like for growth, everybody's trying to find ways to monetize, make money, to be able to just figure out what next looks like in their life, to be able to create a business and a whole bunch of other things. Like those things are very popular right now. Or even what it looks like for your that dream job, being an employee, what those things look like, okay? But the thing is, you might be wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that once again. So here's the situation. Have any of you heard of Doorbot? Most of you are probably saying no, but if you have, you might have an idea where I'm going with this. But Doorbot, I personally was very unfamiliar with Doorbot when I was checking on some things here. Um, so an individual created something called Doorbot, okay? And he pitched this idea of Doorbot to different investors, and some investors really enjoyed it, really liked it. So he was able to raise some money for Doorbot. But he's like, I still need more because this idea has a lot of potential and we need to be able to grow. Okay. So the individual that created Doorbot went somewhere that we all probably know very well. And I'll tell you this in a little bit here. And he went there and explained his pitch. He explained all his different things. And the people at this place did not like it. They thought that he wasn't investable. They thought the company wasn't ready. They thought it wasn't investable. So he was like, all right, cool. If you know what I'm talking about right now, please leave the 5 stars, the like, the subscribe, all that. Leave the comment down below if you know what this is. They said no. Later on, everything changed and the company was sellable. So let me go back. And I'll give you all some more context here. So Jamie, I'm going to get the name wrong. Jamie Simtoff, okay, is the creator of Doorbot. He went to Shark Tank and pitched Doorbot, which is a device that you put in front of your door as a camera to record and know when people are at your door. Have y'all heard anything like this before? So, as he pitched Doorbot and it got no's from Shark Tank, continued working on his company, getting other investors, and built his company quite a bit to the point where he sold his company. Now, you would think, once again, being able to go to Shark Tank, you think that Shark Tank is the dream and you want to go there to pitch and you're excited because you know you're about to get a deal. But you might be wrong. You might be wrong. The deal that you want in that situation may not happen. It may not happen. You might be wrong. And then as he continued to build up, he was like, okay, I'm wrong, but he did not let himself break down. He learned more, gained more knowledge, continued to build his company, grew his company, and sold it to Amazon to something that you might be more familiar with called Ring Doorbell, that now he sold, which was a few years ago now that it was been sold, but a few years ago now, sold for approximately $1 billion. And let me be clear. Let me be clear because I know we've been working on with the audio. Shout out to the podcast editor, Jess, killing it. But let me make sure I repeat that for y'all because when I listened to it, because I was on my phone doing some research and I'm listening to my voiceover, because once again, y'all know I'm not looking at my screen, I'm listening, okay, using accessibility options through my phone. I thought it said, is that 1 mil? And I did some, or 1 bill. So I did more research. I made sure I slowed it down. It said 1 billion, like B as in basketball. Shout out to the USA Olympic national basketball team. Anyways, he sold his company for $1 billion. But yet, successful, amazing business owners said no, thought it wasn't investable. But he put all of his stock, he put a lot of effort into thinking that Shark Tank was going to be the place. It was not the place for him. So he was wrong on that. Had to do some pivoting. Work on figuring out what next was going to look like for him. But it was okay because he learned from that mistake. But once again, we tell each other, we say that it's not okay to be wrong, but it couldn't be. That's how you learn. The trials and tribulations, the obstacles have shaped you to be able to be better the next time. When I think about my future, all right, when I think about my future, in 3rd grade, they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? NBA basketball player. Bong. That's it. But NBA basketball player was what I wanted to be. Looking back, well, now, as you all can see, I am not a basketball player. But the thing is, I think it's important for us all to realize that, well, one, I'm okay with that. I'm not a basketball player. But as I grew older, learned more about myself, what happened was I realized that I love basketball, but I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make the most difference in the world. When I thought about my job, when I thought about what I was going to do for a living, it's always been how I can make the most impact in the world, what I can do, how can I give to the world to be better. And after a certain point of time, after I didn't think it was basketball anymore, I thought it was going to be psychologist. So when I went to college, I studied psychology and I was in an intro psychology class that maybe some people thought was easy, but it was very sciencey. And not that I didn't like science, because I did well in science classes, but for some reason it wasn't clicking. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Sociology class was cool, but the psychology class I was taking was not it. So then I started, thinking, what could it be? Because once again, I took that opportunity to learn from myself, be okay with being wrong, but it not being psychology. So I was like, you know what? It's English. because I'm loving my writing class right now, the opportunity to express myself in different ways and not be held down by societies. It has to be like this, and the math problem, this is the equation, and you have to solve it like this. Be able to get away from that was helpful for me because I don't believe that anything is one size fits all. However, comma, I live in a world where we need to make 1 + 1 = 10 because we put in the work. So my one and somebody else's one, we make it 10 because we put in that work. Okay. I can't be held down by you just saying 2 + 2 only equals 4. All right. Because my 2 + 2 equals 100. That's what I'm talking about. I don't, the limitations. I can't be a part of it. So, anyways, it doesn't compute. Limit? Question mark? Limits? Nah. Anyways, so the situation is this. I studied English and I loved English. It was fantastic. It was awesome. Be able to express myself in different ways, write, all those different things. Okay. Write books, papers, poetry. Poetry was the thing. It doesn't happen always on the intro now, but there was space and time where I would say when adversity came, I could have fell apart, but I chose instead to follow my heart. When adversity comes, I will never run. I will adjust, adapt, and overcome. Vision. So that's bars from your boy, okay? Those things aren't created probably if I don't become an English major because I had the opportunity to learn more about me. Now, how was I going to implement English? I was going to be an English teacher, done. So then I could help out more people, kids, stuff like that. Kids, adults, whoever, to be able to write and express themselves in a way that maybe the world doesn't always do and be able to analyze books and learn from them. Fun fact, people always say that that English, you don't know what you're going to do with it as an English major. But I would say that English and psychology are very similar because psychology gives you the opportunity to study the brain and the mind. In English classes, we're reading books about people who have the same brains and minds. So they get the opportunity to learn at a different capacity. So I'm studying English, I'm writing, I'm loving it. But then I start relearning about mentorship and working with blind people and other blind people and what it's been like to be an example for them. And that was an amazing experience. And I realized, well, maybe I don't want to teach English anymore. Maybe I want to be someone that helps empower other blind people. So then I got my master's degree in counseling and guidance and certifications in orientation and mobility and rehabilitation teaching for the blind. So I was wrong again. And I was like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to be wrong. This is what I'm doing. But if you'll remember, I've talked about this a little bit briefly. I started working at a center for the blind and called Savvy Services for the Blind. And a couple weeks after I started working there, I went to a Phoenix Mercury basketball game. Shout out Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner. And someone that I was there with asked me, "Hey, Tariq, so why is orientation and mobility your passion?" And I was like, "That's funny. It's not." And that taken her aback. This company had just hired me to do this, but had just hired me to do this, and I immediately said it's not with no hesitation. And I don't know if I'd ever voiced this or not before. But what I said to her, she said, "Hey, Tariq, is orientation and mobility your passion?" I said, or no, excuse me. She said, "Why is orientation and mobility your passion?" And I took a deep breath and I said, "It's not. It's not my passion. My passion is empowerment. And this is just how I'm doing it right now." See, I understood that I didn't necessarily know what next was always going to look like for me, but one thing that I know that I will always have the power and the ability to do is to empower. That is that's my thing. But it took me a while to get there. And that's okay because I learn more about myself every single day, the strengths, my weaknesses, learning how I could best affect the world was important to me. So if your thing is to be a teacher, you learn more about yourself and you no longer want to do that anymore, that's okay. Sometimes, like when we go to high school, we go, okay, you have to choose a major in college. The way that's set up, I understand why you need to choose a major because you have to figure out what you're interested in to focus on. But that's very incomplete. We have to make sure that we let people know that it's okay to change their majors. And I think most people know that. But even once you work in a field for so many years, you're there for 10, 15, 20 years, you're like, you know what, maybe this isn't the thing anymore. And once again, that's okay. It is okay to be wrong because all the work you're doing, all the work you're putting in is just setting you up to get to the next best thing, to get to where your authentic self needs to be. So I'm telling you right now, people are going to tell you that it's not okay to be wrong, but it couldn't be more better. You like that as an English major? More better? Move still. There you go. So understand where your focus is. The focus is on you. Prioritize you. From there, the chips will fall where they need to fall. You'll discover more about yourself and recognize that it is okay to be wrong, but it's what you needed to learn, the lessons you need to learn, what you need to go through to get to the actual dream. Because you might not actually know what the actual dream is. You might not know what the actual dream is, and that's okay. You might not know exactly what you want to be. That's okay. But focus on making you better. Because there's a difference between I have this dream, but I'm not working towards anything, right? Work towards something. Okay. This is not just like, oh, I want to be, here's the deal. When I said I wanted to be a basketball player when I was in third grade, it sounded cool and I played a lot and it was a lot of fun. But I'll be real, at some point in time, I must have lost that because I probably should have been practicing a lot more. Like, if you want to do something, you need to actually do the thing. What are we talking about here? If you want to do something, you need to actually do the thing. I can't be talking about wanting to be a basketball player and I'm playing video games all day. I can't be talking about being a basketball player and sleeping until 11, 12 o'clock. Those things don't make sense. So then maybe I never really wanted that in the first place. But once again, it's okay to recognize your actions, recognize that you might be wrong, but recognize where you got to go to get to where you want to be. You might not know where you want to be, but start thinking about it. Put in the work to learn more about you because you might be wrong. If you look up the studies, they'll tell you that a lot of times people don't even end up in the jobs they studied for in college. Now, part of that probably is because it's difficult to find a job, and that's a whole other conversation. But another part of it is like they lose interest, they burn out. And so, what does it look like to take care of you, to learn more about you, to be able to develop your skills, to actually do the thing that you were meant to do? My thing is empowerment. And once again, I thought it was only going to be blindness. But this podcast thing is fire. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Which one? Share the podcast with somebody. We still we want to build, we want to spread that empowerment. But it's wild when I look at my stats, and sometimes I'm excited about them, sometimes I'm not. But then I look back, I'm like, wow, somebody listened to this podcast in 39 different countries. Countries I had never heard of before. So someone's listening. Someone wants to feel empowered. The question is that person you? Do you know the person that needs to feel empowered? Do you know what someone's going through to be able to get to the next level in their lives? You may know that person, you may not, but ultimately prioritize you and understand what it looks like for next. Okay. And it's okay if you're wrong. When I became blind, I thought I was wrong. I thought that there was no next. I thought it wasn't okay. But as I learned more, as I discovered more, I recognized that this is something that I needed to learn for my journey of empowerment. And now I can tell you all about it. It's okay to be wrong. Continue being wrong. Learn from being wrong so that you can lift yourself up. And that way you can lift others up. Learn more about you. And let's make it happen. Have a great one, everybody. Not only I am Vision of Hope, but we are Vision of Hope. And this is your space for empowerment. Let's get it. Vision.